with that introduction. So thank you. And I want everybody to know I didn't pay Guyleen anything for that introduction. So, but so yeah, we've, as Guyleen said, I'm part of E2 Innovations or E Squared Innovations, and we've been in business since 1998. And so we've really been blessed as far as being able to work with artists and a lot of municipalities on art programs and things like that. And Goodyear, the West Valley, Gallery 37 projects have just been incredible projects that we've been able to be a part of. So what I thought tonight is I would just go through pictures of projects that we've worked on and kind of talk about those. And if anybody has any questions, we can go from there. But really, just kind of a broad range of projects that we've done on the West Valley, not only within Goodyear, but a lot of different areas. So also I want to just kind of start off too with these projects that we've done and that you see this incredible art. We've been able to be a part of that. A lot of that stuff is that we're working with artists that have those ideas. We get to bring along our expertise or our experience as far as how things should be built, and that they're built to be maintainable, that they're economical, and that it is a product that is a win-win for everybody, not only the artists, but the public and the municipalities or private individuals that we're doing those things for. So what you see on these pictures is incredible stuff, things that we've either done all the fabrication or we've just done a small part of it, but we've really been privileged to be able to be a part of those projects. So with that being said, I'll get this PowerPoint up and we'll start going through that. So whoops, here we go. Okay, so this first project here, which is the latest one and one that's just been incredible for us to work with, is the Goodyear Hearts, celebrating, I believe, the 75th anniversary. And so what I want to do is kind of just take you through the slides and kind of describe as far as what the process is or was to get to this point. The art that's on these hearts, we didn't have anything to do with. Those are just these incredible artists that have been painting these things. So once we installed the hearts, we were super excited to see what was happening and what would happen as far as the painted art on there. So so that's a picture of a few of those hearts. So to start something like this, the heart is made of fiberglass. And it's on a stand. It's a steel pole and with a steel base plate. And so to do a fiberglass heart, we had to create a plug that they call, and that's made out of foam. And the plug is hand carved. And we had a company that is here locally, is Nacomia LLC, and they took the styrofoam and pieced it all together to make this big block and just started carving away at this. And then they carve it to get to the point, then it's sanded, and then there's basically a primer or hardener that's put on the outside of that foam plug. So after the plug is made and it's approved and all of that stuff, we sent these pictures to the city and said, what do you think? And we got to go ahead and we moved on from there. So from the plug then is the creation of the mold. And the mold is, it's basically kind of a rubber product. I don't know, this fiberglass company created that mold, but basically you can't make this heart in one piece. It's made out of two halves of fiberglass. So there's another piece to this mold that is the exact opposite of that. So once that plug is completed and it's approved, then they cut it in half and make the two molds. After the molds are made, then they cast the fiberglass. And if you can see in the picture on the left, that is the two halves and are placed together. And that's, the gray is kind of the primer of the fiberglass after it comes out. And they put it together and they actually put some wood shims on there to hold the two pieces together. And then they take fiberglass tape and seal that seam, and then do the fiberglass over that, smooth it out. And that's what's in that picture to the right. So then once we have that fiberglass mold, what's on the right, and you probably recognize a couple of people on there. On the right is Guyleen and Patty on the left. We installed these, and the city prepared a concrete base, and we anchored those bases into those concrete pads, and those hearts are locked into that post there. And that's what's on the right. That's what we delivered, which we thought was great, but we're like, well, that's not even going to be the beginning of, this. It's not even the end of what's going to happen. And you can see on the left, as far as just the incredible work that artists had done on these hearts, as far as based on a decade that they were responsible for. So very incredible and exciting project for us to work on. I think the overall period of time that this took was roughly about 8 weeks, from our shop drawings approval to development of the plug, of making the mold, of doing the fiberglass, doing the metal bases, cutting that, powder coating, and then to delivery. That was about 8 weeks worth of time there. So then another project that we worked on, it was Gallery 37 project, which we like working with those projects. The Gallery 37 projects are basically programs with youth, students, and to do public art. And so we get to work with them as far as to really help to bring a professional side of this, as far as a real world side of it. I remember one Gallery 37 project we were working on, the Tolleson project, which I'll be showing on down the road. We were working with a bunch of students, and we have Last Chance High School by our shop, and there's some kids walking by, and they saw these incredible art pieces. And I said, hey, this is stuff was designed by, young men and women like you folks. And we started talking about it and what that process was. And, as far as being able to, they learned how to communicate, to be able to communicate their design, to write, that incorporates, those skills. It incorporates math as far as developing budgets and being able to look at and present schedules and present their ideas to sell those things. And so there was a lot of elements with that. And one of the students that was walking there, he goes, man, I'm really glad I talked to you. Cause he goes, I see from the art side now what I need from an education as far as math, English, science, communication, speaking, all those things. He goes, I need those things. He goes, I was actually thinking of dropping out of school. And I'm like, wow, that was a powerful and incredible statement that I heard through this Gallery 37 program that we had that aspect to be a part of. So this one here, the students made these tile pieces, and you can see in the pictures, the round circles, and they're tile pieces. Well, when they fired them, I don't know, in the kiln, some process happened that these pieces cracked. And so, and they weren't supposed to crack. So we met with the Gallery 37, and really there were some things as far as going to really celebrate and express those cracks. So the design were these stainless steel rings to encompass these mosaic designs, and to celebrate those cracks, and on these towers. And this is at the Stray Mountain Regional Park Visitor Center there, and they were all set in along this pathway. And so there's another picture that gives a little more detail. Actually, let me go back here. The far one to the right, which I didn't see because everybody's picture's on there, that is actually a close-up of that tile piece, that those pieces were put together to really celebrate those cracks, and that was really basically turns it into a mosaic. And then one other aspect that we did is that was completed was a mosaic compass, and that was set and just at the end of the path. And that was made in, I believe, 4 pieces, if I'm not correct. And so that was set in the ground, and we actually had to align that or orientate that with True North, or try to. And that was really a great element as far as that. And we also got help with a company called Mosaic Guys, David Jarvin, and he helped us as far as doing some of the setting, some of these pieces, and grouting and those types of things, especially with the compass on that. So really a fun project, and a great project as far as just the surprise of what is art, and something that, came out of the kiln. Their initial reactions were, this is not good, but in the essence of doing the overall design and art was really a good thing, and very powerful, and it has a great story. I love that story. This slide here is the Goodyear Library book drop. Again, another Gallery 37 project, working with the students. And this was an element that had to be designed as a book drop, but also have a door that was large enough for the cart for the library. And the top piece on there is a background, and then basically showing kind of a head and a book, and feet. And the head is an element of the world, and then the book, and then the feet, and then it has lighting in it to light that up, so it casts a shadow on that background for that element. And then on the sides, which we'll have a close-up of that, those are pieces that have different shapes and symbols on there that people can turn and build their own story with that. And so the slide to the left, you see it illuminated at night, and that's kind of the shadow that it casts on there as far as with the illumination. And that was a really, what we do as far as E-Squared Innovations is take what somebody's design idea is and make sure that we hold on to that design idea, but make sure it gets done in a way that is will have a really good effect for what they're looking for. And sometimes that changes some things. Sometimes it's exactly how they want to do it. So you can see the spinners on the side. That's the picture on the right. And those are all different shapes. They spin. People or kids, it's at a good level for children, and for them to spin those things and just be able to create their own different stories with how those spins in different colors and those types of things. So again, that was a great project to be working with and on. This is a project we did, I don't know how many years ago, but these are banners on the streetlight poles, and to represent Goodyear, and obviously it has a stainless steel blimp on their symbol. And what we do with that, they wanted that look, but we were able to what they call is laser mark that image onto the stainless steel blimp. So that was a project that was unique as far as being visual, but also giving it dimension with respect to a flag mounted sign. This is a project that we worked with a couple of mosaic artists, Nina Solomon and Heidi Doffin, and at Palmentier Park. And the issue that we have with this is they wanted we did the rusted mountains and helped them with an outline, and really did just basically a frame that they could set everything in. And they wanted the mountains to be rusted, but they didn't want the rust to run on their tile pieces. So we found a product that is called Natina that you can apply to a galvanized steel that will give it a rusted finish and a rusted look, but it won't drip or those types of things. So that was a project. It was fun, and that we were kind of challenged as far as finding the materials and something that would work, that would look rusted with a natural type rust as opposed to being painted, but yet wouldn't bleed on the tile pieces themselves. This is a project we did at the Goodyear Farm Cemetery Arch, and this is at the historic Goodyear Farm Cemetery. And I put this in here. I believe this project is in Avondale, but I always got confused when we're talking about this project because I'm like, it's Goodyear Farm Cemetery, but I couldn't remember which municipality we were working with because of the title and where it was. But this is a historic cemetery, and we worked with the artist Joe Tyler, who we do a lot of work with, and he's just a great artist. And this was an arch. I believe it's about 26 feet in the air for that entrance into that cemetery. So a lot of these projects, what they incorporate is we'll have to do a structural design, which we use a structural engineer, Bingham Engineering, and then we do shop drawings, and then we usually work with a general contractor and to get the permits and the process as far as the installation of this. So this is a project that Joe wanted to celebrate an essence of Goodyear, which was cotton. And I'll show a closer picture. One thing he had a problem with is, cotton doesn't really grow like this tall, this high up in the air like a tree, but it was something to really reflect the history of Goodyear. So you can see this was a steel arch. The columns have a real rustic kind of tree trunk look to them. And then the leaves, we have cotton leaves, we have cotton balls, we have cotton blooms, and all out of steel, and they're different powder coated finishes. And then the letters are all flat cut out aluminum. So it was really great because it integrated a lot of different color and a lot of different material types, and really a successful project. I have to add one thing is, and you'll see a project down the road, but I really have a lot of fun when we finish these projects and then we put them on our trucks and we transport them to the site, because as you can imagine, driving to the site with this Goodyear Farm Cemetery with all these cotton looking pieces and things like that, you definitely get a lot of great looks as far as those things and comments. So it's a lot of fun. This is a project that we just installed probably a month ago, I guess. It's the new Goodyear Fire Station 186. It's out in Estrella. And again, this is a Joe Tyler project. And this is something that is working with we worked with the fire department, with Guyleen, the city, with architect. And it was great because this is something at the very front center, a focal point of this fire station, and it is a giant roadrunner. And it's great because we were in the meetings with Joe Tyler, and everybody's kind of wondering what to be on there. They really wanted something to represent the fire station, and Joe came up with Ready the Roadrunner. Like that they're ready and ready to action. And so the firemen just thought that was great, and they wanted a roadrunner that was very, I guess, very ready to go. And so that's why you see the top of the head like that and things like that. So that roadrunner is probably 10 plus feet long, and it's on top of an 8-foot pedestal. And it has the Goodyear Fire Department logo on there, and then the kind of flames on the side. And then that has an interior light in there, so it lights it up at night, the obelisk. So that roadrunner is made all out of steel. Joe made all of that. We made the obelisk for him and installed the project. And again, that's another project that I had a lot of fun with driving when I picked up the roadrunner from Joe's house, and driving with this Roadrunner on the back of one of our trucks. Great project, just really unique and fun and exciting as far as that. And here's some more close-up pictures with respect to that. This is another project, Goodyear Fire Station 181. I believe it's on 143rd Avenue, just north of Van Buren, just north of the city offices. And this one we're going to be actually installing February 10th, I believe. And what I'm showing on the left is the top half of the obelisk, and it actually has, and so that's the top half that's sitting there. And then if you look to the right picture, that's one of our shop drawings. And so just to give you a little perspective as far as what our drawings entail and for approval. And this doesn't include the structural analysis as well, but you can see on the shop drawing that there's images. So each side is to represent like the ladder company or engine company or hazardous materials company, wildfire company. I think those are the four sides. And then that's what that tower is on the left, but that tower also gets put on a pedestal, square pedestal that you see at the bottom of that shop drawing. And so this obelisk is actually going to stand almost 26 feet. And again, it will be internally illuminated. And those images are cut as a negative in that material. And so we take that plate steel, and actually the firefighters, they had a firefighter that could really sketch these drawings that he wanted. And those images that are on there as far as the ladder firemen on there, that's actually their sketch. And we took it and we made it so that those were all line cuts in there. So it's actually an opening and the light will shine through it. And so there's quite a bit of time as far as computer time to be able to develop that and do that. And then I'm going to show you a picture of what that obelisk looks like as far as lit up. I think that's going to be the next one here. So this is in our yard of our facilities. And so the picture on the left, you can see, I believe that's the engine side of the firefighters. And then on that right side, you can kind of see the hazardous materials guys. So you saw from the previous picture, the steel, and you'll be able to see those images during the day a little bit closer. But at night, it really stands out as far as what those images are. The picture on the right is now the side of the hazardous materials side of things. There's a couple other views. And you can see our parking lot our yard has a lot of parking lot lights. So you can see by that around the yard, there's a lot of light there, but even with that great amount of parking lot light, that obelisk really, the images really stand out as far as being illuminated in there. And that's just one light, a big LED floodlight that is shining up into that. This is a project, another Gallery 37 project that we worked on, and it is called Sound Bloom. And this was a project that they wanted a tree that had these images, and then they had these chimes that the students made to have these chimes that would make sound during windy periods. This is a project that we worked on with the Buckeye Library. They wanted a donor element, and what this is basically a steel tree that's on the wall that has leaves on there, and then people can get a different colored leaf or size of leaf with their name on there with donations as far as that. So this next slide, that's kind of a close-up. So this is a flat plate steel that we did what they call barking. Is drawing a metal bead along there and to give that textured look as far as a tree bark, and then that's flat plate up against the wall with leaves, and then the colored leaves, the green, yellow, and orange or red, are donated leaves that people can get their names on, lasered on, as far as and then as people donate, then the color of the tree just blooms, and which I thought it was a great idea that the Buckeye Library was doing that. This is an aerial mosaic in Avondale. It's along Van Buren, just west of Dysart Road, and it's for I believe it's for a senior center there, and this is part of a public art project that they donated money to, or gave money to, as far as to have that done. Heidi Dauphin is the mosaic artist. She brought the design to us. We got the project engineered with Bingham Engineering, and then built the frames for her, the frame to encase this mosaic look. And as you can see in there, there's in the center of that mosaic, you see some blue, like blue sky pieces. Well, that's actually is openings in that mosaic, and I'll show you pictures that are a little bit closer. But there is one, this is at the drive into the senior center, and this has this big, beautiful steel arch and things like that. And so it has that mosaic on each side of that, and it's suspended between that framework. So it gives you a little more of a view of these pictures here, are close up in the depth of what that is and those openings. And I really enjoyed that Heidi had those openings in there, because it really gives, I thought, depth and airiness to something that was, as you saw in the previous picture, it's substantial in size. We always try to get a picture of somebody in there, just so you can really be able to view how big these are with respect to the area. So really a fun project, and I know it was a lot of work for Heidi to get all of that tile and the mosaics in there, but it really worked out well. This is a fun project here. Well, they're all fun, but this is a fun one in that we've gotten to know a company called Reliance Management. Great people. Daryl Burton, in fact, he was in the Business Journal a few months ago, and he is developing the business center, what they call Flight, at the Goodyear Airport. It's on Litchfield Road. He's just doing incredible things as far as that redevelopment. And what's great about Daryl and also his son DJ is they love art and they love fun things. So they came to us and said, hey, could you make us, we've got some engine cowlings, jet engine cowlings. Can you make those into benches for us? And I had to first look up what a engine cowling looked like, or what it was. And so I said, sure, bring one over. And they brought one over, and we thought that was the coolest thing, to have an engine cowling in our yard. So we developed a bench, basically a bench base for them. And they took these engine cowlings, they obviously polished up the front part of that, but we developed a bench base that they could place these and move them around with their forklift for any type of events, or just fun, crazy things. And we've done quite a few of them, and you'll see in the next picture. So the picture on the left, just to give you scale, that's a young man that's kind of lounging in the jet engine cowling. And they use just fun colors with respect to that. So part of this development, they have a huge hangar that I guess World War II, they were developing planes, building planes in there. They were building dirigibles or blimps in there. That's why it's just so huge. So we dropped off a whole load of these that we had made as far as these engine cowlings. So really a fun project, and great to show pictures to people going what we're building, especially people that were pilots within that industry. So this is another one. They brought us, these are actually rear engine rear fairings. And so they said, hey, we want you to make some art sculptures out of these. And I said, okay. I showed up with a pickup truck and they loaded these into the back, and they were kind of beat up and just these carbon pieces or whatever. So we developed accentuating all of those openings are now perforated panels with holes in them, and then developed a screen on the back side. That's the picture on the right, and ability to mount these on a base. And then they have a light inside of those, so at night those illuminate and light up as well. So again, something unique. And we're doing some other things on that project that hopefully is going to be even more fun, that they're looking to do with jet wings. This is again, this is outside of Goodyear, but this is on the west side. And again, another project with Joe Tyler. It's a surprise fire department. It was an obelisk. Again, working with him as far as developing imagery, cutting, fabrication to some degree. Joe did a lot of that fabrication at that time, and so you have something you can see there as far as development and lighting. This is again another project with Joe Tyler, the Surprise Library Learning Tree. It's actually a steel tree, and Joe has built a lot of these trees, and we've been able to be a part of that. We're actually in the process of building a windswept tree for a house in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and then we're doing two trees, the Tree of Knowledge and Tree of Life, for Midwestern University for their ossuary garden. So that's a lot of fun as far as working with Joe on some of those things. This was a tree, and then what's standing back at the back of the tree is a book. And so you can see it to the right. That was the title on the front face of the book, The Learning Tree, City Surprise. And then in the inside of the book is a quote from Thoreau, and I believe another quote, I can't remember, that we didn't do any of the fabrication as far as the tree. Joe did all of that. We just worked with him on the book part. And here's a couple other pictures of the tree in the book. He also does these benches and some of those other things, and just a lot of organic type work. This is a project we do with Valley Metro and some of the other municipalities. We do repair of sculptures and artwork. There may be a project that an artist did that something's happened to it or didn't work out quite right, and so we come in and do repair. So this is one of those projects, and this was a really fun project, and I've got a fun picture after this slide. So this was a project that in a park that an artist did this hummingbird sculpture, and it was kind of this basic same shape and size and those types of things, but it was they'd had a contractor out of state build it, and it just didn't last. And so City of Peoria came to us and said, hey, can you fix this? And we said, no, we can't fix it, but we can make one, and we can make one that will really hold up. And I go, it's gonna be very structurally strong and hold on to itself. So that hummingbird is probably about, well, I'd say probably about 12 feet long, and it's probably somewhere around, I don't know, 12, 18 inches wide. And that's all fabricated out of aluminum. So we cut two sides, one side and the other side. And then we call it what we call it is skinning it. So that's that plate that we put on all the way around and inside those little things, and a lot of welding, a lot of grinding. And then it's a painted finish on there, and turned out really well. We, as you can tell, the left, there's another picture of it. And then to do our testing to make sure that it was going to work, one of the guys that worked on it, Crispin Beamish, he decided to get on there and act like he was riding this hummingbird, which we thought was great. And also, I just want to let everybody know, I did ask Crispin for his permission to put his picture on here. But So that was the test. He's awesome. He's amazing. Everybody here that does work I just can't say enough about him. So just a great project that Chrisman was part of, and the whole team really with that whole project. This is a project. It was a Gallery 37 project. Just really incredible. I just am so thankful and grateful every day that, well, all these projects, but this one was really kind of a special project in that we worked with the students and everyone as far as developing these individual sculptures. So there was really a lot involved in this project, and a lot of different elements. And so these are pictures of what I guess these students worked as groups and developed, and each group developed their own unique sculpture. So what was consistent for all of them was the base. So the base is a gabion base with a wood bottom and another gabion, and then it had a stainless steel laser marked title, like the one with the military was True Heroes. And I want to talk about that one a little bit, because you see that's the helmet, and then the soldier saluting and the flag. Well, that helmet is all out of fiberglass, and that was made by Nakomiya, the company that created the plug for the hearts. And so this really enveloped a lot of different materials, a lot of different processes, it just really cool ideas as far as what these individuals came up with. The other one on the right is Family Tree, and it has all these people and basically blooming at the top into a tree, and they're all kind of tied into one canopy, which was just great imagery. Another one, and these were aspects of Tolleson or the West Side as far as those things. The other one is evolving, is basically from agriculture to industrial. With this the climate. The other one was a pure wisdom as far as just where all that comes from and how that's brought into in the growth process. The other one was New Heights, and those were hands that were made out of basically almost copper, grabbing a torch, and all of these have illumination to them, which is great. The other one was tradition, tradition or heritage within that Tolleson area. The other one was unity, and that ball basically really glowed, and again, just a lot of great imagery. Here's another one. This is trees that we actually built for Joe Tyler. This is a rehab center that was near Banner Estrella Medical Center, and these were unique in that we built 5 trees, and they had multicolored leaves on them. But the issue was we built these trees, but then they had to be placed inside this medical center or rehab center, and the center was completed by the time they got through to putting these trees in there. So we basically, as the picture on the left, we built these trees in our yard, which was great. I loved it. We actually had 5 trees in our yard, and again, people love to come by and see our tree forest in our lot. It's actually kind of, when we build these things and they're sitting in our lot, and as they grow and become the sculpture, it's hard to see them go. It's hard for them to leave our lot and then to see our lot, kind of empty. So then we had to take these trees, and we literally had to cut them apart to be able to get them inside, and then mechanically attach everything back inside, and so that in a way that nobody could see a mechanical connection or that type of thing. So that was a fun project. Here's another one, Joe Tyler. The common theme with Joe Tyler is the trees. This is the Glendale Library War Memorial. This is a big project that Joe did that we got to have a small part in. He created a tree for each division of the military, and then there's a center obelisk in there, and he actually got parts of the USS Arizona that are on that center obelisk. So very moving, very incredible war memorial. And here's a picture of the obelisk in the center of that memorial, and another picture perspective of that. This is a project that we just created, or just not created, we just completed. Actually, probably two weeks ago, I believe. And this was a similar project to like a Gallery 37. We were actually contracted with the city of Peoria through the contractor, but we worked with the artist Chris Kolash, and hopefully I spelled her name correctly. Wonderful artist. This part of this project, she worked with the kids to create imagery for mosaic scenes. So as you can see, the one on the left and center and to the right, those are all mosaic images, and they're wonderful. So this bridge is on Happy Valley Road between Lake Pleasant Boulevard and the 303. And they just expanded this bridge and added all these wonderful niches on these columns to place art. So there's actually 12 mosaic panels on the pedestrian way sides. And then they recreated those panels in digital images on the vehicular sides, along with some other imagery. And I believe they also worked with, I believe the company's J2 that worked with this project and worked with Chris and the development of this art on there. The other panel to the in the center there is what they called Monsoon. It was just a cut imagery out of aluminum plate that we did. And then this bridge was dedicated to Officer Jason Judd, who was killed in the line of duty in Peoria. And I couldn't find another slide, but there's one other slide. So this is the badge picture, and then there's a photo picture of him. So they're all cut panels. That ribbon that you see where it says end of watch and Officer Jason Judd, that's actually a fabricated piece of aluminum to make it look like a ribbon, along with the badge and that type of thing. So really moving project as far as that, and that dedication, and just really transforms that bridge as far as color and art. This is another Gallery 37 project that we worked on with Marley Park. It's an art ramada that we did and worked with them. Again, great experience. And quite a while ago that we did this. But again, utilizing different imagery, different colors, different shapes. It was fun and unique. And so I just started tossing in a few pictures here. I don't want to go over too much or whatever, but just some of the other things that, as far as art side and things like that, but that who we work with on the art side of things. We actually did a hole-in-one sculpture for the TPC, Waste Management Phoenix Open. So if you watch it on TV, this is the 16th hole, the infamous 16th hole, and there's this sculpture, and it rotates, and it's for all the individuals that did a hole-in-one within professional golf on this hole. And we were actually connected with this project with Gree Pickett Architects, Wendell Pickett, and they actually developed the design, and then we kind of worked with them as far as morphing it into actual shop drawings and going from there and creating that. So that's an aluminum sculpture on that. And again, a lot of fun and unique. It's some of those you go, yeah, we can do it. And then you get into it and going, wow, how are we going to do this? So the part of discovery is fun and kind of pushes us to the edges of our comfort zones, so to say. This is another fun project that we did with, and I keep saying fun project, but I don't know how else to describe these things. Unique, I guess. Joe Tyler, the artist again, these were transit shelters that he built, bus shelters, and he wanted to do old radios. So these are full size replicas of old radios. And I think these are actually radios that he's got at his house, that I can remember him bringing them in and going, can you make, a model of this? And I'll show you on the next slide. Actually, let's go there. So the center picture is the model that we drew, cut, developed for Joe. And you see how small it is. It's on a trailer there right next to the welder. And from there, on the left and the right, the left is the finished installed bus shelter at its location. And the one at the right, that's Joe Tyler with the braids. That's at his place. And that shows you the scale of these bus shelters. And so it's wonderful as far as doing these models with Joe and then being able to see that grow and become something that is full size and in public view and used by the public. It's wonderful. So again, Joe Tyler, this is Peoria Bus Shelters. What he did, these were existing bus shelters, and he added elements to this that were the history of Peoria, cotton, roses. I think there was produce, corn, and wheat are these. So we worked with him as far as measurements, installing, building the frames, cutting some of the stuff. He did all of the work as far as the artwork and those types of things, and really turned out really good. I mean, because it's here you have these kind of standard bus shelters, and what do you do with that? Well, you have these incredible art pieces on these ends that are kind of framed to, almost for that. Here's something that I really got a lot of looks at when I was hauling on our truck to the site. In fact, I stopped at a Circle K, and one of the ladies working there, I know her real well, Mickey. She goes, "Are you part of the Rose Garden Parade?" And I go, "No, this is the Rose Garden sign out at Mesa Community College." And again, this was Joe Tyler, and it's a nationally recognized rose garden. They asked him to do a sign for that, and so we did the sign and made all of that and the post. And then Joe, he did all of the filigree and all the just incredible artwork stuff all around that. And then we came and pick it up, and he did the post, and we installed all of that. Like I said, that was a lot of fun driving that on the freeway. Phoenix Police Academy obelisk with Joe, similar thing as far as what, not similar as far as the cutouts and that type of thing, but just the style of things as far as with the obelisk and what you're seeing with the Goodyear Fire Station 181, and just what a powerful impact it has both day and night, as you can see in that far right picture. Actually, true story. We had some problems at our office, and I called, not at our office, but outside with some transient activity. I called Crime Stop, 2 police officers. Actually, let me back up. Somebody broke into our yard, and so I called the police and just to report it. 2 police officers came out, and so I said, "Let me go show you." And I had to go back in. I said, "Oh, I got to get my keys, and then I'll meet you over there." When I came back out, they were outside standing looking at the Fire Station 181 obelisk that is going at in Goodyear. The officers looked at that, and when I came out, they said, "Did you guys do the Police Academy obelisk?" And I said, "Yeah." And they go, "We thought so." They said, "That is a really cool obelisk for the firemen." So I thought that was great. So here's another thing with Joe Tyler. We did, and again, I just tossed this in here. We did pterodactyl shade structures in Las Vegas for a park there. So we built frames, and Joe did the heads and tail and the feet, and we didn't install it. It was shipped out there to the contractor, and they installed it. So there's not many people that can say they've done pterodactyl shade structures, let alone spell that in a PowerPoint slideshow. So here's another look at those. I don't think I ever would have thought that I would make pterodactyl shade structures. This is a project. This is another artist, Dave Brandt. So we go to Joe Tyler, the organic. Dave Brandt is more contemporary imagery and that type of things. This is development in Tempe, 2100 Rio. The gate it's along the Salt River bed, so the gates to emulate the flowing of the river. And then to the left are imagery of agaves and ocotillos and Um, just a lot of really cool stuff. Here's a bench that we did for him, all out of aluminum and perforated, and it has the big agave leaves with kind of these geometric holes in them to shade over the bench. The image to the right is another area over there in that same development with another bench and kind of these yuccas or agaves blooming up. These are bike racks. I love it, and all galvanized finish, just hot dip galvanized. And then also here's something, the same thing with David Brandt. We did, and it's really art. It was, and we've done several of them in Apache Junction in the kind of their core area. We did these combination street stop signs, but really have an artistic element to it that Dave Brandt designed with that. And this is a wind wall sculpture at ASU that we worked with the, I think it's landscape architects at Cohen Van Loo Engineers. And we got to be a part of this, that we developed the wind wall structure. So all of those individual tiles swing in the wind and kind of has this wave look to it. So it looks like a fountain leading into that fountain there. So the individual in that picture gives you some sort of scale of how tall that is. This is another project and artist in Tucson, Daniel Diaz. We've done work with him for light rail projects here in Phoenix on 19th Avenue in Townley. We did the Sunset Bridge with sculptures that he developed on there. Just great guy. All these artists are just incredibly wonderful people, super nice, very creative, just really, really fantastic. So it's really fun to be co-working with them as far as developing that aspect of these being fabricated. Here's another aspect that we did, 19th Avenue light rail with Daniel Diaz. Is a mosaic artist in Tucson that we worked with on that and built the steel structures and installed that. 5 Cs in Casa Grande with Joe Tyler. All sculptures. We really didn't do that much other than signage on this, but all the 5 Cs of Arizona. Midwestern Steel Saguaro, and that's again Joe standing next to that saguaro, and I think that's it. Let me get to here. So yeah, that's, hopefully I didn't bore everybody, and I just thought that was the best way to really talk about what we do and what's going on as far as what we've been able to be a part of within not only the West Valley but the state, and but specifically the West Valley. Goodyear, everybody within Goodyear has just been incredible to work with, fun to work with, out of the box type thinking, and just really for the arts. So with that, Patty or
Hi.
Hi, Rosie.
I'll just interrupt here for a little bit just to let YouTube viewers know that we will be ending the stream on YouTube, and we're going to open this discussion up for a Q&A with Eric. Thank you, YouTube viewers, for tuning in tonight, and please go to the chat section in the YouTube channel, and you can find a survey. Please fill out that survey and let us know how we did tonight. So on YouTube, thank you for tuning in, and for those who are on Zoom, please stay on if you have questions, if you would like to chat with Eric, and then you can